Well, welcome to the Crazy J Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm back. This is the Crazy Crockett, aka Andre's podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to talk about, I brought this podcast up to flames for people like me who are disabled. I did it really for men who are born with disability, but I've been on Reddit. I've been reading a couple of these rants or these concerns that other people have of their disability. And I wanted to embrace the idea of acknowledging them in my way. I've been trying to get people to be on my podcast and talk about it, but I think again with people with disability, we are not always connected in that way of sense. If we were participating in any sporting events or any music or band or whatever other people join groups together. So I've decided to go through a couple of these, I call them rants, but they're not really rants, they're just more concerns. So this one of the concerns was that this person realized that he or she will truly not be able to work. And this person is roughly in their 20s, and they were supposed to be volunteering at a facility, and this person woke up, didn't feel well. They called the volunteering spot, and it was okay. And then that person also realized that by doing that, they also realize that they won't be able to hypothetically get a real job because of their diagnosis of their illness. This person might have bipolar disorder, some form of eating disorder. And, this is something that, I didn't really, I don't really realize that people really do have issues with their brains and how they receive or deal with information that may be stressful, or their mood swings can be very up and down. And I would tell this person is that if you don't start trying to just work through the pain, or if you don't deal with your mood swings, it may have a lot worse negative effect on you in the long run when you're in your 40s or 50s. Because if you feel like you have not accomplished anything in your lifetime, that can be very, very distressful, and it can make someone feel unworthy, because that's what would have happened to me. My left foot is flat. I can hardly use my left side that well. I have some form of disability with my left hand, my left foot, my left side, caused by a stroke. So when I walk, I look like I'm wobbling back and forth. And then if I am on my feet too long, my left foot really hurts. It's in pain. It's kind of like my nerves in my feet pinch, and it can create discomfort. And when it creates discomfort, I can get really moody and really not really pleasant to be around with, especially when things don't go quite well at work. And I've been diagnosed with a form of neurodivergent, which I see the world differently. But I question that in itself. I think it's more with my disability that I have to question the world a little differently. But I don't know you at all, the person I'm talking about that realized that they may not be able to work. But I will encourage you to try your best to work, to find a job, to go somewhere, and to volunteer once a week. And even if you don't feel good, you're there to volunteer. And if you're there for 3 hours and you can only do 2 hours, then that's an accomplishment. Then you can work your way up and better. It'll create more confidence in you to continue to work. And that's what's happening to me. I've always worked. I've never collected disability. I've fought through pain. I've fought through mental disappointments, but I have always went to work. Even when I didn't want to go to work, and even if I was under the weather, I still went to work. But by the end of the day, I felt better about myself because I actually accomplished something for myself. And that is something that's very, very important for anyone to realize. It doesn't matter if you're disabled, it doesn't matter if you're able bodied. You sometimes you just have to do the things that you don't want to do. And I think with people with disability, we have that uh, excuse that other people may give us and say, "Well, you're disabled, you can't do it. I understand," and then they give, then we're off the hook. But in reality, that hurts us in the long run. It just will. It always will. I'm telling you the truth. If you allow your disability and you allow other people to feel sorry for you, you'll never get anything done with your life. And I don't want to be like a kind of a hard ass or someone that's just kind of like, oh, you got to be tough it out. You know your own weakness, you know your own strength, but within your own strength, I would encourage you to be able to figure out that you can go to work, that you can do this once a week. And if it's just 2 hours, then it's 2 hours. And if you made an appointment for 4 hours and it makes it two, then make it two. So that's my take. I'm going to go to the next one. I read this that this person has an 86-year-old father who refuses to use any mobile disability equipment for himself. This person lives with their parents. She is or he is also disabled and has myasthenia gravis. It's a chronic autoimmune neuromuscular disorder. It's the weakness and rapid fatigue of the voluntary muscles. Uh, the body's immune system will will produce antibodies that interfere with the communication between the nerves and the muscles. Uh, so basically, what I understand is that this person has no control of their muscles, and it can create high fatigue and to their muscles, and it can also make them very tired itself. However, this person is living with with her parents. The father has fell 3 times in the last 3 months. Um, but the father is very verbally abusive. And whenever this person asks them to use a mobile ability or a mobile assistance, the father becomes very voluntary towards that person who is also with disability. And this is something that I would give you two things suggestions. One is to probably not live with your parents. I think that living with your parents can create unnecessary stress. Your father is an old stubborn man, like what you said. Um, he gave you criticism for buying a electric wheelchair. And I think that your father is 86 years old, so he's old school. So he believes in and toughing it out. And he may not understand you as a person who needs the assistance from the electric wheelchair and everything else that you need to move around and to be able to live your life. And I I just tell you the truth. I think that's very honorable of you living with your parents. I think it's very honorable of you trying to function regardless of your disability or regardless of your equipment that you're using or not using. Um, but I would tell you I would not move. I would not live with your parents. I just think that's just not necessary for you to be around somebody that's that negative energy towards your life. My mom was a probably a narcissist personality. She told me to drop out of high school. She told me that the girl that I liked was ugly. Uh, she made fun of her sisters, her siblings. She made my father feel uncomfortable around his family and her family. Very negative person. My dad went off with another girl and started his own new life. Uh, just kind of to let you know that I was a lot older. We were a lot older than my parents split up, so it wasn't like it's affected my childhood. But uh, I would strongly suggest that you leave your parents aside. Make keep contact with them. Uh, Try to understand your father's point of view, but you don't have to be their, I would say, emotional support system or physical support system. That's something that's not for you. You should take care of yourself. If your mom and you have a great relationship, great, keep it up. Um, but yeah, I would not live with your. I just would not live with your parents. That to me is not. To me, it's not really smart. Uh, the third one I want to talk about, the third um, Reddit note I want to talk about is that this person started to realize that no matter what this person does, and no matter what type of certificate of a IT certification that this person passed, companies will not hire her because she or he has a disability of apraxia of speech. Apraxia of speech is an impairment of being able to pronounce words, especially long words, difficult words. It makes you make it the person makes it sound like they're severely disabled, not really comprehending the words that they're trying to pronounce. I can tell you this: I have problems pronouncing words itself. Some small, some long. Sometimes I will not be able to pronounce a word that's really easy to say, and then I won't be able to fill out this make complete sentence or complete sense of the word. And I totally understand where you're coming from. I do think that you could get um, an AI computer to help you speak those words. I think that you could get an AI technology to help you work for your job. I know that I'm looking for that itself. I'm trying to find a remote job. There'll be a day where I'm going to have to find a remote job. They're just going to have to because I'm not going to be able to lift 40, 50 pounds as I get older. Stay on my feet. It's too long. Um, but yeah, it's a struggle to have a speech impairment, having a physical disability impairment. Um, yeah, it's not fun. So I would encourage you to create or find an AI machine or an AI software that helps you pronounce the words that you cannot pronounce. Even if you are typing things out or doing whatever, I would still have that AI technology connected to that program or software that you're working with. And that in itself will help you learn how to communicate with your employer or likely to be hired employee. Uh, but yes, people are jerks. People will always be very negative towards you because you can't pronounce the words. I would also maybe would encourage you to work with other people who help people with disability to find work and to be your advocate. I know the way I live, there's an advocacy in the county that I live in. I can go to them. I can have them advocate for me. I can have them try to help me pinpoint a better job situation that I'm working on right now. So there's ways for you to do that. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to wherever state that you live in, I encourage you to find as many sources as possible to do that line of work. Um, there you have it, folks. Uh, there's my little intake about uh, Reddit questionnaire or Reddit um, kind of way of giving out your information or feeling your thoughts out to the rest of the world. That's what Reddit disability Reddit is. It's for people with disability to kind of vent out their frustrations, vent out their thoughts and ideas. It actually, I think it's a great idea. Um, but if you enjoy this podcast, I hope that you come back, subscribe, tell other people about it. Anything I did incorrect or you need to ask more questions, please do so. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Apple Podcasts. You can find me on YouTube. I'm on Patreon as well. Peace, love, and I'm out of here.